Welcome back to Timeout with J and G. I am Jay over here and G over there.
Yo, what is going on, everyone?
Today we have a big episode. We're doing our play-in review / preview because we are recording this on Wednesday, the 17th. So the first two playing games were last night: the Lakers, Pelicans, Warriors, Kings, and tonight are the playing games for the Heat, 76ers, Bucks, and Bulls, or not Bucks, the Bulls and the Hawks. That's tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about, what happened last night. Obviously, the Pelicans and the Warriors losing. The Warriors done. The Warriors are out of the playoffs. And then we're going to talk about what we expect from tonight and who we expect to win, what we expect the second game matchup to be. And then we'll talk about the matchups of the Pelicans and the Kings now. And, we'll get through the whole play-in scenario, give our picks for that, talk about how we feel about the game. But before we get into that, there's two things we want to talk about. The first thing, actually, I just want to hit on really, really quickly before we get into the other thing. Let's see if I can find the official tweet here. The NBA has leveled a lifetime ban on Jonte Porter for gambling. Good. And Adrian Wojnarowski also quote tweeted that again. It said, the most damning for Porter in the NBA itself, he bet the Raptors to lose. So apparently, he plays for the Raptors. He was betting on the Raptors to lose games. And I think it said he bet over $70,000 and won $20,000. So dude lost his entire career for $20,000.
Jeez.
I mean, there's conversations being had about, was it too harsh, right? And the reason behind that is because you still have people like Miles Bridges in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like these people that have done worse things are still in the league. Now, I think I don't think it was too much for Jonte. I like the punishment, but Miles Bridges should also not be in the league. These players that have done these worst crimes shouldn't be in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, but I'm not downplaying what, some of these other individuals have done in crime-wise, but for, Jonte Porter, the whole thing about the NBA is the integrity of the game. He is absolutely shitting on the integrity of the game. You know what I mean?
I fully, like I said, I fully agree. I think he should be banned. I have no problem with that. I just, where the conversations are, people are like, oh, that was too harsh because, Miles Bridges is the big example because of what happened the other season. It's like, how can you have Miles Bridges in the league yet ban Jonte Porter for gambling? And I'm kind of in that same area where it's like, Jonte Porter deserved to be banned, but why are we letting people that get away with beating their women stay in the league? Because I don't care how you feel. In my eyes, and I'm sure it's the same way for you. I'm not saying you, but I'm sure in both our eyes, beating women is worse than gambling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're beating your wife, your girlfriend, your kid, whatever you're doing is going to be always going to be a worse crime than gambling your money in the NBA. That's just how I view it. And I think that alone should be enough that Miles Bridges should be banned.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you. I can't argue with you on that. It's sad that these things happen. Mm-hmm. Not for Bridges' sake, but for the women or whoever gets beat up or abused or whatever that. It's sad for them, and mm-hmm. I wish something would actually be done. Because I mean, look what happened with Ray Rice.
Yeah.
He didn't get banned from the league, but nobody picked him up because of it.
Basically got blackballed out of the league. Yeah.
Yeah, and why isn't it happening to Bridges?
Exactly.
If the NBA isn't going to take initiative and ban him, why don't the teams be like, no, we're not bringing you in. Your name's tarnished. No, just stay away.
I fully agree with that. It's like the NBA should have done something about it, but it also fell into the teams where it's like, yeah, this dude's like a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Why we're not giving him a contract? Because and I know people are going to be on the other side, oh, it shouldn't matter because it's his job versus his personal life. I'm sorry. Most jobs that we have in a normal everyday life, you're going to get fired if you're accused of abusing your wife. If you're going to court trials for abusing your wife, you're probably losing your job too.
If it's a conviction.
Yes. You're probably losing your job. So it's like what, you know what I mean? It's like, for example, somebody that works as a I don't know, just like a tech guy at a software company gets accused, goes to trial, and gets convicted of abusing his wife. The company's gonna be like, yeah, you're done, man, 'cause you're going to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's so I think I don't know, man. It's stupid. I don't want to get too far away. I think he deserved to get banned. It's stupid. It's stupid. Why would you even do that?
See, here's the thing. If he would have just did it once, you know what I mean? Like, just did it once, bet his unders, and just did it once, and then got the money, and then just never did it again. That's understand. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the smart move. What he did was just plain down stupid. Now, I'm not condoning betting.
I was gonna say it would have been wrong either way, but
yeah, it's wrong either way. But if it's smartly done, you do it once and you're done, and that's for a reserve player who doesn't really see the floor. Like, if you're Kevin Durant and you slap down a sizable bet on your unders, it's gonna raise some questions. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
But for like Jonte Porter, I haven't heard that name I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard that name in a while until this came up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, all of it's bad. Any crime is bad, but
yeah, no, and I think part of it is the NBA like making an example out of Jonte Porter, where it's like, listen, we're not fucking around with this.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna be it's that way. And the NFL's had a bunch of players in the past couple of years get busted for it, for betting on games. Calvin Ridley was suspended an entire year for betting on games, and there's also the other arguments like, why are these leagues pushing gambling so much if they're going to ban people? And it's like it's different for your employees versus your viewers.
Yeah,
like you work with these other companies and you're promoting gambling to your viewers and all that kind of stuff. The players cannot do it. They legally cannot do it. Yeah. And I don't understand. It's like these players should be able to know that and control themselves enough to not want to gamble when they know it's illegal for them in their positions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm trying to think of an example.
I don't know. I have a big example, but I don't really want to put it out here because it's a bit political.
Yeah, no, we try to avoid stuff like that.
Yep, that's why I'm not saying it.
But I'm trying to think, because there's like certain things where it's like, I know there's a company that I was thinking of before we started that I wanted to use an example of, and I'm blanking on it, but it's like, they're like not allowed to use the company services, but obviously the people that you like, if you don't work for them, you can. And there's a certain company that is that way. It's like, if you're an employee, you can't use this product. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
You work for us. You cannot use this thing we're promoting. It's just how it works sometimes. Is it right and fair? Maybe not, but it's just how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult situation no matter how you look at it.
Yeah. But we'll get out of that. We'll get into more lighthearted basketball news. I know you brought up you want to talk about this, so and I'm assuming I'll just let you take the lead on this. Go ahead. What you want to talk about?
All right, so we are going to talk about the WNBA ticket for this, and the draft just happened. And just to go through the top 10 picks, because I'm not gonna sit here and go through all 3 rounds, but top 10 picks were number 1, Caitlin Clark went to the Indiana Fever. Fanatics actually sold out of Caitlin Clark jerseys.
Go check out Cloud 2K. I did an Indiana Fever rebuild. Okay, go on.
Number 2 was Cameron Brink, went to the Sparks, Los Angeles Sparks. 3 was Carmilla Cardoza, went to the Chicago Sky. 4 was Rakia Jackson, went to the Los Angeles Sparks. 5 was J.C. Sheldon, went to the Dallas Wings.
Okay.
6 was Aaliyah Edwards, went to the Washington Mystics. 7 was Angela Reese, who went to Angel Reese.
There you go.
Went to the Chicago Sky. Alyssa Peely went to the Minnesota Lynx. And then Carla Lietti went to the Dallas Wings. Okay. And Leila Lacan went to the Kinetic Suns. So I'm just saying this right now. Caitlin Clark probably the best player to come out of this draft. Sitting here right now.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
2 teams that I do want to point out is the Chicago Sky, because they got Carmilla Cardoza and Angel Reese.
Yep.
That right there is going to set the Chicago Sky up for the next 10 years. As long as they stay together,
Yeah, that's a front court right there. That's their 4 and 5.
It is, because Reese and Cardoza have been playing against each other from high school.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah. So now they're on the same team. Who knows what's going to happen? And I know Cardoza is like 6'7".
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Angel Reese is probably going to slide up to a 4.
Oh yeah.
In that scenario, but yeah, that's going to be an insane defensive front court, and they can both score from inside the paint. So yeah.
It's going to be insane. And the other team I want to point out is the Los Angeles Sparks. They got Cameron Brink, I believe, out of Stanford.
Depoy. Yep, Depoy. She was Defensive Player of the Year in college.
Yep, Cameron Brink, I believe, out of Stanford.
Yes.
She played phenomenal defense. What was that girl's name?
Haley. Is it the Haley girl?
Yeah.
Her teammate?
No. The girl she played against in the tournament. I can't remember her name.
It's been like a week or two now. Yeah,
it's blanking off the top of my head, but she played good against her. She's just been playing good all year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pairing her up with Rakia Jackson, who led Tennessee in scoring, and I believe was an All-SEC team.
Sheesh. I see you're going to tune into the Sparks a little bit this year, huh?
Maybe.
Hey, well, actually, real quick, I've been seeing you can get the WNBA League Pass for like $36.
Shit, I might have to get that.
Like the NBA is like a couple $100, I'm pretty sure, for League Pass. So like at least over $100. WNBA is only $36, and you can watch every game.
I might have to do that.
Yeah, to watch, if you want to watch Caitlin Clark, you want to watch Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, you want to watch these girls that play in cities that are not near yours, because like we live in Pennsylvania. Does Philly have a team?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we have a team in our area. It would probably New York would be the closest team for us.
No, Washington.
Oh yes, Washington. So it's like for us to probably watch any WNBA game, we'd have to get League Pass unless it's on national television.
I do believe, because at the point when the season starts, I think it's basically WNBA and MLB.
Okay.
And maybe the tail end of the playoffs for the NBA.
Then even still, like, you're going to be able to see Caitlin Clark on national TV. You're going to see Indiana. You're going to see the Sparks. You're going to see the Aces, obviously, just because they're such a good team. Like, you're going to see those teams. But like, if you really want to dive in, $36 for the entire season, it's pretty cheap.
I might have to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the Fever, they're going to be set up.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark, I believe they got a couple other good pieces. The Sparks and the Sky, I feel like, are the two teams that came out. Honestly, the Fever were guaranteed to get Caitlin Clark, but the fact that the Sky got Reese at 7, is what if I had to rank, the winners from the WNBA draft, it'd probably be Sky, Sparks, then Fever.
Yeah,
based on the players that you got.
The Fever took Wembanyama basically this year. We knew who it was going to be.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, they made the right pick. It was the easy pick.
It was 100%, and I'm excited for what this is going to do for the WNBA and how it raises it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can talk about it because we talked about it before the podcast, but it's like, obviously it's been going around viral recently on Twitter about like what Caitlin Clark is making on her rookie contract. It's like 4 years, $338K over 4 years. So it's less. I think the last year gets slightly over $90K for the season.
I believe I know it's 76,000 her first year, and I believe it's like 91 or 92 her last year.
So obviously, that it's bringing up the combos again of like the what the women are getting paid versus the NBA, and obviously there's people on both sides of that argument, and I think Levi and I we're basically in the same boat of it. It's like there's a reason that WNBA players get paid less because of their value. They lose like $10 million a year.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure, right?
They lose the $10 million and it gets subsidized from the NBA. So
right, like that is the reason. But before everybody gets in the comments angry, we were also talking about comparative wise. This draft and the next couple drafts with people like Juju Watkins coming out in a couple years too, it's like we might be getting into the Magic Bird era in the WNBA. Because like we talked about before, the NBA for the first 30 to 40 years.
33 years.
Yeah, 33 years. They were not a famous league. Wilt Chamberlain dropped his 100-point game in Hershey because nobody was watching.
Yep.
It's like the NBA was not, and of course, in today's era, nobody cares because that was 50, 60 years ago. So we don't think about that. We see the NBA what it is today. The WNBA has been around for what, 27 years, you said?
About 26.
26 years. So, and we talk about 33 years after the NBA became is when the era of like Magic and Bird and then Jordan a couple years later was. So it's kind of lining up similar towards like, okay, they might be hitting the renaissance with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Juju Watkins, these other girls that are like taking it to the next level. And we all thought it's going to take a while. In 2 years, they're going to be making millions of dollars. It's not going to happen that fast. It's going to take 10. It could take until the end of these girls' careers until we're really seeing women get paid over $1 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, if we actually think about it, I remember seeing this. I don't know if you watched. I think it's like Winning Time on HBO Max about the Lakers Celtics, basically.
Oh yeah. I watched it. Yeah.
In like the first couple episodes when Magic was talking to the Lakers, it was like 4 or 5 years, 300 some odd thousand.
Yeah,
I believe. So even then, back then when Magic was drafted, it's more than what these females are getting paid, but it's, you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure. Didn't they say they settled on like at that point they gave Kareem like $600K and that was like record breaking?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it was nowhere near what it is today.
Yeah, and I do want to correct myself. They're going to be celebrating their 28th season this year.
Okay.
But back to you were saying, like, this is the 28th year of the WNBA. The NBA started back in 1946, and it wasn't until about 1980, 1979 when it started seeing growth, when Magic and Bird came in. Like you said earlier, I think this draft is kind of like the Bird Magic, Caitlin Clark's Bird, Reese's Magic, right? And then
that seemed highly racial, but okay.
I mean,
from that,
what? Bird was white.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. White. It seemed highly racial that you did it.
I mean,
but just comparative to like the two of them, they are like the Bird.
Bird,
they
Bird
don't play
and Magic,
like them, but yes.
Bird and Magic were the centerpieces of the 80s. Reese and Clark are going to be the centerpieces of the 2020s. And the 2020 and the 2030s. On that note, in the next couple years, we're going to see Juju Watkins come in the league. I think that's going to be comparable to the Jordan draft. That's what's going to set it over the top even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, comparing the NBA to the WNBA is a very controversial thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we look at it in the time frame constructed, that would be better suited. Like, if you look at the NBA in the first 28 years compared to the WNBA in the first 28 years, I feel like that's how we have to view this instead of looking at the NBA from 1946 to 2024. Because the WNBA wasn't started until 1996.
Wow.
So I feel like the whole conversation would just be better instead of comparing the NBA from 46 to 2024 to from 46 to 28 years out from there to compare to the WNBA.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. I just think we also talked about a little before. It's kind of unfortunate for the WNBA that their lifespan of a league is happening during the boom of social media. Because by the time 90% of us that are watching the NBA, by the time like we were able to watch the NBA, like pay attention to it, the league was already this big thing. Like I said, both of us didn't really start watching until the late 2000s, early 2010s. The NBA was in full stride. You know what I mean? Like it was top popping. Even most people that were born in the 80s, they didn't really get into it around 90. You had Jordan going through his shit. It's like most people that are watching the NBA now have really only seen it as this big production that it has become.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing the WNBA try to make that transition, but unfortunately, it gets highly criticized because people don't think about it the way you were just talking about it.
Yes.
They don't realize this is still, I mean, in history, the 28 years, they're basically a brand new league still.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they're still a newer league, and they're getting some people now. Sabrina Ionescu was just in the All-Star thing with Steph Curry last year with the three-point shootout. Asia Wilson is a well-known female player. Like, they obviously, like, Brianna Stewart, like, they have down Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi. I just butchered that name. I'm sorry. They have a lot of legends that are like working their way out, and this new generation's coming in. Like this is you're like watching Wilt and Bill Russell leave and retire, and Magic and Bird come in.
Yeah,
it's kind of like what we're watching, and it's like all it's going to take now is, like you said, the Indiana Fever have ran out of Caitlin Clark jerseys because people are tuning in. The WNBA draft had over 2 million watchers. That shatters the record.
I was actually watching it too.
I watched the first couple picks. I did.
I watched about the top 10, and then something else came up, and I had to go do something else.
Yeah, it's like, and I mentioned it before, and I think you'd agree. Like this offseason is the most coverage I've ever seen of the WNBA.
Yes,
I've never seen the WNBA pushed on my Twitter feed like it has been this offseason, and it's good. It's getting on a lot of people's pages. A lot of people are talking about it, and going back to it. Next season, they aren't going to go from losing $10 million to making $10 million on their revenue. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to take time. Like I said, Caitlin Clark's making $338,000 over the course of her contract. By the time she could be like at the end of her career, and finally her contract's over $1 million. But it's like, you know what? That is a lot of progress.
It's a stepping stone.
Exactly, and it's going to take years. And unfortunately, people are so quick that it's like. And I get it. It's like people are so quick to look at it like what Wemby's making $55 million as a first overall pick. Caitlin Clark's making $338K. And it's easy to look at that and be like, holy shit, that is not fair at all. Just by looking at the numbers, it's very easy to say that. But we got to talk about the revenue. We got to talk about why they're losing money. The NBA's got to cover it. They can't afford to get off these contracts. But all you got to do to help the WNBA is go to these games. If you can't go to the game, it is what it is. Buy the league pass, $36. Really, you can't. If you want to be one of these people online that want to criticize people for not watching the WNBA, yet you can't give up $36 for the entire season, respectfully, shut the fuck up. If you can't take $36 out of your pocket to support a league that you want to bash people online for not supporting, you know what I mean? $36. That's a tank of gas in most vehicles.
Yeah.
That's all it takes for you to at least make a difference. Like I said, we both probably get that. We're putting in effort to watch these, give them money, help watch them. Viewership increases. I don't know if I'm going to buy a jersey. I'm probably not going to buy a jersey just because I don't really have a jersey collection. If you've got a person that's into jerseys, then get an Angel Reese jersey, get a Cameron Brink, get a Caitlin Clark jersey.
Yeah, I might get one.
Yeah, it's like this is ways you can support. And literally, even if you don't want to spend the money, because some people in this world are just flat out broke, and we fully respect that. We fully understand that. Turn on the TV to one of these games, even if it's on national television. Just have it on your TV and watch. That's support in itself. Just went on a little rant there, got a little emotional about it, but I feel strong. I genuinely like seeing new things pop up, or not new things pop up, but like the WNBA pushing boundaries, getting these women in the All-Star game with the NBA, getting their names out there, getting the WNBA draft on TV with 2 million watchers. It's like, that is great to see. So that's my little rant. We can move on from that.
Yeah, I mean, it just, the biggest thing for me is that you say about the revenue and everything.
Mm.
The NBA brought in $10.58 billion last year. The WNBA brought in about 180 to 200 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big discrepancy, and it's not going to be changed overnight.
No, it's going to take time.
It's going to be a stepping stone. I'm pretty sure this year coming up, they're expected to have a record break for the revenue brought in and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for it. I really am, because we all know that it comes to a down point in sports where there's nothing really to watch. Go watch the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch it. You're not going to get, the poster dunks. You're not going to get, the alley-oop slams. But if you are a true fan of basketball, the WNBA is a team-oriented game. Let's be honest. It's a more team-oriented game than the NBA.
It plays similar to college.
Yes.
If
Yes.
you're a really big college fan, you genuinely might enjoy the WNBA.
Yep.
Also, we also got to realize, like, the NBA now, like, if you look, compare the NBA to the 70s to now, people in the 70s weren't doing these crazy dunks. They weren't doing that. You know what I mean? The human body evolves as years go on. There's no reason in the next 10, 15 years we don't see women consistently dunking in the WNBA.
Yeah. And actually, the funny thing about the NBA in the early days before Bird and Magic came along, the NBA finals were being tape delayed for westerns like Gunsmoke.
That's nuts to think about now.
Yes. Think about it right now. Could you imagine if, let's just say, we had Celtics versus Nuggets in this finals coming up, and it got tape delayed for
the new Fallout TV show.
Yes. Like, if you're a sports fan, you're going to want to see it live.
Survivor's on, sorry.
Sorry, you got to watch Survivor. You can't watch the NBA Finals, you know? It's just an unfathomable thing.
Yeah.
That happened during back then because it wasn't as popular. The college basketball back then was arguably bigger than the NBA.
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff that happens and you progress through it.
Unfortunately, there's just too many people in this world that are stuck in the mindset of, and I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, because we know it's true. There's a lot of men in this world that just legitimately hate women. It's just how it goes, unfortunately. And 99% of the time, if I click on a comment section of a WNBA post, it's men just shitting on the WNBA.
Yep.
And it's like, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to change these people's minds. So don't try to. Don't worry about them. Bring in a new set of fans.
Yep.
This younger generation is exactly who you want to be targeting. Get them while they're, that sounds a little weird, but like, if you're the WNBA, market to these younger people. That way, they don't have these preconceived notions about the WNBA. A guy in his 50s is not going to change his opinion on WNBA. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely, I should say. But if you're marketing, and these kids that are boys and girls that are 9, 10, 11 years old are seeing the WNBA in a similar light to the NBA, that's where it starts. That's how you get this generation of people that respect the WNBA, and that's how you build a fan base.
100%. And another big thing is the NBA more now than ever, like with the whole with the shootout with Sabrina and Steph. I'm pretty sure there's going to be basically a 2-on-2 3-point contest next year at the All-Star break.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all but confirmed, and it's probably going to be like Sabrina and Caitlin Clark versus Steph and whoever Steph's partner is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, it's for the WNBA to take another step. It's got to be all hands on from both the NBA and the WNBA to get this thing even to take that step to increase everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that both parties are doing their job. It's just a matter of getting it out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, when I look at commercials, you know, like when the NBA Finals comes around, you know, I'll see NBA Finals commercials on damn near almost every television.
100. Yeah. Yes, you will.
Yeah, and I know the WNBA doesn't have the funding to be able to do that, but, you know, using social media is a big point.
Yes.
For everything. But they're probably already doing it. You know, I don't know a whole lot right now, but it's just marketing, getting it out there to the younger generation and even to the people in their 20s that still are open-minded, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and I think you use the idea of social media, which I think is a great point because I'll be completely honest, and like I said, I could be late on this, but I feel like the big push that the WNBA got was when Sabrina was in the 3-point shootout. I feel like that's what turned a lot of people's attention to women's basketball.
And the other thing that majorly helped them was the lack of, how do I want to word this?
With the fact that the women's basketball tournament was better than the men's.
Yes.
I mean,
that helped a lot because in past years we've had some of the big names that were one and dones or whatever. You know, like a couple years ago we had Zion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had big names where it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna go watch them. But this year was kind of just like, you didn't really have that jaw-dropping name, that, bona fide number one overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of just like, well, this, the decent games, but, I'm going to go watch the women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, the first round of the women's bracket, there's maybe one upset.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, when you actually, like, compare them, when you get to, like, the round of 32, the Sweet 16, the women's bracket was arguably better than the men's for competition-wise.
I definitely paid more attention to it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. So the WNBA and just women's basketball in general benefited from the men's basketball tournament not being as exciting. You know what I mean?
And to that point, I think that is literally all it takes.
Yep.
That 1 year for people to jump to the women's, I think is going to make a difference long term.
And it was also the build up for Reese and Clark.
Yeah,
because what happened last year into this year.
Yeah, it's like all it takes is that 1 year for attention to be shifted. Where it's like maybe in the next couple of years the NBA or the men's college basketball gets that star again, and people are going to tune in more to the men's side. But I feel like, and like I said, this is me projecting, but I feel like if we look at the viewership for women's college basketball and the WNBA from the past 5 years into the next 5 years in that 10-year gap, it's only going to go up, 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 because it took that 1 year for momentum to really shift to the women, where it's like, I think they've secured themselves enough of a fan base to build their league.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at it from an outside perspective, I shouldn't say outside, but the highest rated women's basketball gaming for the tournament beat the highest rated men's game by
it was like by 4 million.
Yeah. So I mean, right there, in a sense, there's your comparison. People were watching the women more, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, and it goes to show, like, it went from 18 million to 2 million for the draft. You saw that big drop off because the stakes of the national championship versus the draft, that's what it's going to be. But we also, like I said, they broke the record for most viewers of the WNBA draft by 2 million. They shattered it by a lot. I don't remember what it was, but they shattered it by a lot. So it's like, now you went from 18 million to watch the college basketball. Okay, now the 2 million in the draft. You're probably going to at least carry 1 million of those people over into the season.
Yeah.
I think, and I kind of want to move on because we've been talking about this for a while, but the last thing I want to say is it is imperative. It is so important. And this is putting a lot of pressure on these girls, and I understand that. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, even people Sabrina have been in the league for a couple of years, Juju Watkins next couple of years, they cannot be bust.
Mm-hmm.
If they come out and they suck in the league for whatever reason, maybe it's like situation or they just don't play well, that's going to lose a lot of people quick.
It will. If
they come out and play like superstars that we are projecting them to be, that's only going to continue building the hype. Because it's like, okay, like I said, in 2 to 3 years when Juju Watkins comes out, now it's like, okay, what's she going to do now? And then, and another year or two later, it's like, what's she going to, it's like, if you keep building on great players, that is how you build your league. If these great players come out and flop, you don't have the security that people are going to keep coming back.
Yeah. Also, the draft drew 2.45 million viewers, and it peaked at 3.09.
Wow.
And that was the most viewed WNBA draft ever. It was the most viewed WNBA event on any ESPN platform.
Can you see what it was before that, or can you not find that? I didn't know if like the stat you had showed that or not.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Because I remember seeing it on Twitter, but obviously you never know how reliable that is. So I didn't want to. But well, let's move on. We talked about the women. You guys just got damn near a half hour of women's basketball talk.
That's a lot.
But let's be honest. There's only the play-in tournament was. So I'm okay with spending some time on the.
They deserve it.
WNBA. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Exactly. They do deserve it. And maybe in another year or two, we'll be able to dedicate whole podcast episodes to them. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So the game I want to talk about first is because I feel like this was the more exciting of the two. I know it's going to be a little biased, but I think it legitimately was the Lakers-Pelicans game.
It was.
We were playing video games last night. I had it up, and I think you were watching it too.
Yep.
The Lakers win 110-106. LeBron 23, 9 and 9. Anthony Davis 20, 15, no assist. Okay, D'Lo had 21. Austin Reeves had 16. Rui Hachimura had a good game off the bench. Zion Williamson had 40, and then unfortunately left with about 3 minutes left, where he might not even play the next playing game with like I think it's a calf strain or something like that.
Yeah.
First impressions, the Lakers came out very slow. But then, they got it together. D'Lo, I remember I mentioned it to you. D'Lo is like one of those guys that it's like, this dude is not afraid to pull a shot at any point in time ever.
Yeah.
Which the Lakers need, if I'm being completely real with you. He had that one, I think it was like right after him and Jose Alvarado got into it, and they both got text. And the very next possession, D'Lo did like an in and out, pulled a contested three with like 20 seconds left on the shot clock, and he missed it. And I'm like, that's a move that's basically like, hey, fuck you for fouling me and giving me a tag. I'm going to jack this in your face. And pause. I'm going to jack this shot up and while you're guarding me. That's how I reword that one.
But also back to that technical.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the language here, but that was the most pussy-footed thing I've ever seen from the officials to give D'Lo a tech for nothing.
I agree.
I mean, he clapped because he knew Alvarado got a tech.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like why do you got to tee up D'Lo? You know what I mean? But back to what you were saying.
No, yeah, it's just. But D'Lo hit some big shots going down the stretch. LeBron, man,
LaPookie James.
He played well for sure, but he missed. I think he missed like 7 layups. It was like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 layups. He didn't look sharp. I'll just be real with that. But we were able to win anyway. It's a big win. We got to play Denver in the first round. Obviously, I'm not looking forward to that for obvious reasons. But I really want to talk about this Pelicans team. Like I said, Zion had 40, 11, and 5, and then left with 3 minutes left. He was having probably the best game of his career, and he got hurt, which is a big, big blow to the Pelicans, who now have to play the
Kings.
I'll be honest with you. Without Zion, they're not beating the Kings.
No, they're not. And the other thing that really hurt the Pelicans was the fact that Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum were combined 8 for 27.
CJ McCollum was awful.
He was.
I'll be real. Watching, he just could not hit anything. Brandon Ingram really couldn't find his spots either. It was rough.
It was very rough, and in a game that this is pretty much now elimination or go home for the Pelicans. Mm-hmm. Ingram and McCollum cannot shoot this poorly.
Especially without Zion, yeah.
Exactly. Going into a game against the Kings where you're facing Sabonis, Fox, Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray off a 40-piece.
Yeah, who stepped up. That was one of our X factors.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
It was. Keegan Murray stepped up. But this Pelicans team, I just don't see them beating the Kings. I'm going to be honest. If they had Zion, I'd give them a chance. But without Zion, I just don't think that they have the team play and ability to be able to do it.
The shameful thing too is that like 2 weeks ago they were the 5 seed.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be potentially missing the playoffs entirely.
Now I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think Zion or Ingram gets traded this offseason?
Zion's not going anywhere. I can almost guarantee that.
You think
if anybody goes, it's going to be Ingram and maybe McCollum, but I don't really know what his contract's looking like. Let's see if I can. He has a 2-year, $64 million extension that'll keep him in New Orleans through the summer of 2026. So he has 2 more years on his contract, and it's about 32 million each year. I don't think anybody's going to want that, if I'm being completely honest with you.
I mean, if anything, if you can, see what you can get for Ingram. I'd try and get a point guard for Zion.
And then Trey Murphy is a guy that's 23, and Trey Murphy could step into the spot of Brandon Ingram at that forward position.
Yep.
And Trey Murphy's a really, really good player. He's got a lot of potential. Unfortunately, he's just playing behind Brandon Ingram. Like, that would be a perfect opportunity to see what you got out of that guy. You know, he could be a potential your star 4, or I'm sorry, 3, next to Zion. And it's like, yeah, a point guard is exactly what this team needs.
Hey, I said it at the All-Star break. Pelicans should have traded Ingram for DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, maybe makes a difference. I mean, it generally might. Team
or trade Ingram for Trae Young. One of the two, because we both know one of them guards is going to get moved.
Yeah,
they're not going to run it back for another year.
I'm trying to see if I can find where the the Pelicans. Okay, the Pelicans rank 13th in assists per game. Obviously, assists are not like hold on. All season.
And also, I do believe that Zion is going to be out for the game against the Kings.
Yeah. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but it's damn near like. I'm trying to find this. Go ahead and keep talking about it. I'm trying to find something.
Yeah, I mean, without Zion, it's going to be pretty rough, in my opinion, for them to be able to have a shot at it. But you can't count a team out. You can't.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. They're middle of the pack in assists per game, which is actually a little bit better than I thought they were. But yeah,
they're about 14th.
This team needs, a true point guard unlocks Zion in a different way, makes his team look completely different. I think because the Pelicans and the Hawks are very similar to me, and the idea of you look at their team and you see a lot of talent, yet it just doesn't really come together well.
Yes,
it's like. You look at the Hawks, you were like the 10th seed, and it's like you have Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, Clint Capella, Bogdan. It's like you have a lot of good, solid players on your team. You just can't win games. The Pelicans were up to the 5 seed this year, which was a good jump for them, but it's like CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Valanciunas, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. It's like Larry Nance. They have a good team, yet they just can't. They just don't like fit.
They don't gel.
And I heard Pierre from Numbers on the Board kind of make a similar comment of like Zion. It kind of what you were saying as well. Zion, the best kind of co-star for Zion is a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Him having a wing and Brandon Ingram as his second best player, they just kind of like they don't play off of each other as well as you would like your 2 stars to. It's kind of like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. It's like when you're both in the backcourt, it's kind of hard to like, you know what I mean? Because you kind of have similar roles.
Yeah,
it's hard to play together when you're both trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't work, or if it does work, it's very hard to be able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. If you can and this depends on which way the Hawks are trying to go. Because I think for the Pelicans, if you get either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, I think you take it for a deal with Brandon Ingram. Because I think Trae Young and Brandon Ingram would look really well. DeJounte Murray and Zion would look really well. I think Trae Young and Zion would be like fantastic. I think that is a great fit. But I also think like DeJounte Murray and Brandon Ingram, like I think their pairings would work if they just flip one of them.
Yes. Yeah. And it also just depends on what the Hawks want to do with Murray or Young, because there have been rumors of the Spurs being interested.
Yes. I'll be honest with you, man. If the Hawks trade one of them, I think they trade both and rebuild.
It would be a smart thing to do because, as we've seen up to this point, they had that one run to the Eastern Conference Finals, but past that, they haven't done anything. If anything, you trade Murray to the Pelicans, and you trade Trae Young to the Spurs.
Yeah, and it's like, but then it's like now you have Brandon Ingram when you're trying to go through a rebuild, and it's like I don't think Brandon Ingram's going to want to be there through a rebuild.
You
And
could
it's like
also try and do a 3-team trade.
you could move Brendan Ingram somewhere else.
Yep.
Like I said, at that point, it's like then you probably move on from Bogdanovich. He's over 30. You move on from Clint Capella. You just ship out these older guys
and get as much draft picks as possible.
Yeah, you let Onyeka, Jalen Johnson, Kobe Buffkin, even kind of DeAndre Hunter. Like you just let these guys go out, play, and they can go through a similar phase that the Jazz are going through right now, where they just have like a collection of like okay talent. Obviously, the Jazz have Lauri Markkanen, and the Hawks wouldn't have that in this scenario. But it's like you just have a collection of good players, and you're just trying to work it out to find your rotation.
Yeah, it's just it's just difficult. And leading into that, they're going to be playing the Bulls.
Yeah.
Hawks are going to be playing the Bulls. I give this nod to the Bulls.
I do too, if I'm being honest with you.
I feel like the Bulls all around play more of a team game. As bad as the Bulls are, they play more of a complete team game than the Hawks do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, here's the wild thing, right? Tonight, I think the 76ers beat the Heat. All right, I don't think that they contain Joel Embiid.
Yep, I agree with that.
Then, in my opinion, you're looking at a Heat versus Bulls. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not sold on the Heat to beat the Bulls.
Well, the Bulls almost beat them last year in the play-in, but then Max Strus had like a crazy fourth quarter and hit like the game-winning three. And now they don't have Max Strus, so it's like, yeah, I mean, the Heat are the better team, but it's like the Bulls have a fighter's chance in that one.
It goes back to the Bull, like what I said against the Bulls and the Hawks. The Bulls, I believe, are the more complete team, right? They play more team basketball.
I mean, we talked about it last episode. They're like 25 and 14 in clutch time. Yeah.
Against the Hawks and the Heat, I give the Bulls a good chance. And we talked about it earlier. We talked about it, I think, like last episode or the episode before about the Heat making that run. They've done it so many times now, or they have it. I think this is the year to where it blows up in their face.
It's gonna take Jimmy Butler just doing his thing again. That's literally what it's gonna take, because that's what it is. Jimmy Butler's got to turn into a top 10 player in the league for them to have a chance.
Yeah, just to get out of the play-in.
Yeah, exactly.
My opinion. Because like you're gonna throw Bam Adebayo on Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
Bam Adebayo is a great center. He's a great defender, but I don't think he's slowing down Embiid enough.
He's one of those players you just can't.
Yeah, and then if you look at it, Heat versus Bulls. I mean, you could say, well, the Heat are gonna win. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's that given as a lot of people think.
Yeah, no, it's. I agree with you. I think this is like a game I would probably pick the Heat to win, but it's like 60-40, 60%, 40% Heat to Bulls. It's not much.
It's very close. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I would not be surprised if the Bulls end up pulling it out and getting the 8th seed.
That would be, and then getting their ass kicked by the Celtics. But yeah, it could happen.
Hopefully.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we kind of. And then okay, go ahead.
And then looking into the. Do you want to look into the first round matchups, or
not yet? We'll wait for Saturday when we have it concrete of who's.
Okay.
But we kind of just went through and did our Eastern Conference side right then and there. So let's go back to the West and let's talk about the Warriors-Kings game, and let's talk about the match. We kind of already talked about the matchup between the Kings and the Pelicans. So really, let's just talk about the Warriors and Kings, and then we'll go from there, because that's the only game we haven't really touched on yet.
I mean, this leads into, I know we haven't done it in a while, but this leads into my broken glass moment of the week.
Woo, we're back, baby, a month later.
A month later. Never too late to start again.
Hell no.
But it's Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. In a game like this, you cannot lay an egg.
Mm-mm.
He absolutely laid an egg. You can't. I know this is like, I'm out here. I'm sitting here saying this, and I wasn't actually playing, but he's got to at least hit 2 threes. At least he's got to provide some type of scoring. And he just didn't do that.
Yeah, no, he was a complete negative.
He was, and on the flip side, for the Kings, Keegan Murray had 32.
Yep.
He absolutely balled out in this game.
Keegan Murray is a big guy. I want to show love to Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and I'm pretty sure he had 3 steals. He was
and 3 blocks.
And 3 blocks. He was all over the court, hitting big shots, and he was like with Monk and Herter being out, Keon Ellis stepping in and having this kind of game in the play-in was like he was their X factor. We talked about Keegan Murray, and Keegan Murray was fantastic, but getting a game out of damn near your third string guard like this was just that's what set them over the edge.
The other thing, old man Harrison Barnes had 17 points.
Dude,
that like
he got, and I know, I'm sorry, we actually both have cussed quite a few times this episode. We try not to, but we feel very passionate today, I guess. He had a move against Draymond Green at basically the free throw line where he kept pump faking side step, boom, 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 and he just had Draymond Green jumping in the air. Then he took the fader over him and made it. And I'm like, you can see that shot goes in because I think it was like in the fourth quarter. That shot went in, and Draymond Green just like he looked at it and just dropped his shoulders, like he knew. He's like, yeah, this is over. Like Harrison Barnes had a couple like just killer shots. Just you could tell it took all the momentum, all the life out of the Warriors.
Oh, 100%. And like sitting here right now, I don't think Golden State runs it back with the same 3, with the big 3, if you want to even call them that. Because I mean, at this point, Curry is trying his damnedest. Curry had 22 points.
I was going to say, he didn't even have a great game himself.
Yeah, he only had, but he had 22 points. He shot 3 for 7 from 3, 8 for 16 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
He had only 2 assists. He had 4 rebounds, and he had 2 steals. But for this team to have won, Curry had to put up at least 30. At least. For this team to even have a chance.
They really didn't get many good games. Not many people in this team had a good game.
No, I mean,
Kuminga had a decent game. Kuminga definitely had his moments. Moses Moody came in and hit a couple threes.
Yeah,
and
I mean, other than that,
yeah, like and that kind of goes into my point of it. I'll go ahead and finish, and I'll get into my point.
Let's say, Andrew Wiggins. Mm-hmm. He was arguably the second best player on that championship team. What 2 years ago?
Yeah,
he went 4 for 11, 1 for 4 from 3, ended up with 12 points.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot be like that.
No, basically, yeah.
For the Warriors to have a chance, Wiggins got to put up 20, and Curry's got to put up 30 at least.
Mm-hmm.
At least, and obviously, Klay Thompson can't lay an egg. He can't lay an egg.
Yeah, and this, like I was gonna say, this kind of goes into my thing with the Warriors right now is that you mentioned there's no way they run it back with this same team with the 3 of Curry, Klay, and Draymond. I don't think there's a chance in the world they trade Steph Curry. I just don't think he's going to be for lifer there. But Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are definitely people that can be. Klay Thompson's a free agent this offseason. He just I've been hearing rumors he can go to Dallas. It's like I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion he will not be back next year. And,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you got some decent minutes from Moses Moody. You got some decent minutes. Jonathan Kuminga didn't have that bad of a game either. This is going to go into year 4 for Kuminga and Moses Moody next season. Kuminga basically had to demand a trade earlier this season to get minutes, finally. And then it's been good since then. Like, I don't know if people remember that. He literally was not getting playtime, demanded a trade, and then like an hour later, Moses Moody came out and was like, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. And all of a sudden, they both get more playing time, and Kuminga shows out. I think, and this is my dilemma with the Warriors, is that, like, with Tracy Jackson-Davis, who didn't play much last night, but he's going to be a good young center for them, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, they have some young guys that it's like, we might have a decent group of young guys here, but as long as Steph Curry's on this team, they're never gonna not strive to win a championship.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you're stuck in a 2 timeline situation where it's like you're trying to win Curry another ring before he retires because he's like 35, 36. Yet you have 3 to 4 good young players that you need to develop. And it's like they both can't really – they won a championship in 2022, and I won't take that away from them. It worked that season, but even though Moses Moody and Kuminga didn't really play much that year, and then AirPods and Tracy Jackson Davis weren't even on a team. So it's like Wiseman was on the team. It's like they kind of did the 2-timeline thing, but the young guys weren't playing much, so it kind of didn't matter. Now these young guys are getting real minutes, and it's like we're not trading Curry, but it's like we still have 3 to 4 years probably of Curry still being a top 15 to 20 player in this league at like as the years goes on. And it's like, so what are we gonna do? We're just gonna tell Curry, sorry, man, we got to play our young guys, so we're not gonna be trying to win championships. He's not gonna like that. But it's like, oh, the other flip side is we trade some of these young guys for older stars to try to win a championship, and then you lose your good young players. So it's like, I don't know what they're gonna do.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
And also with Draymond, I don't think he goes anywhere else.
I would agree with you.
He's either going to stay in Golden State or he's just going to retire.
I don't think he's going to retire this offseason. I think he will retire there, but I don't think it'll be this offseason.
Yeah, he's not going to leave Golden State. Now, Klay Thompson, on the other hand, I feel like he's going to have a prolonged career like Ray Allen, to where he bounces around from like another like 2 to 3 teams, and he's mainly just that either your starting guard to shoot threes, or he's the guy off the bench that can maybe spark something if you need him to.
I think it depends. I think next season for Klay is going to be a big thing. Where like I said, the rumors that he goes to Dallas. If he goes to Dallas and shoots 40+%, averages 15+ points, he could get himself a deal in Dallas and stick in Dallas until it's done. You know what I mean? But like if he goes into the next season playing the way he did this year, then yeah, I think if we're getting this version of Klay Thompson the rest of his career, I agree with you. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to bounce around. But if this was just like a bad year for Klay and he goes to a new team next year and kind of takes a step back better, then I think he could find himself with a team the rest of his career.
It's going to take a little bit to finally like figure it out, but they're at a very weird place. And who knows how long Steve Kerr is actually going to be there. Yeah,
that's another thing. Steve Kerr has made some, like I said, that even that whole Kuminga Moses Moody situation, it's like, even some of the comments he's made about Draymond Green when he got suspended a few times, it's just like, I don't know if Steve Kerr's even like fully committed anymore to this team. I think he's kind of in the idea of like Curry's almost done. I think whenever Curry's done, Steve Kerr's done.
I think once Curry's done in Golden State,
well, I think
Curry,
that's I was gonna say
he ships out.
I don't think there's Curry's one of those guys that it's just like I don't see him. I just don't think he's gonna go anywhere else. He's like the Kobe Bryant of Golden State.
I mean, a lot of us said that about Dame, and Dame ended up leaving.
Yeah, but you gotta admit they're not on the same like. Dame meant a lot to Portland, but you know Curry means so much more to Golden State than Dame did to Portland. Dame didn't win any rings there. Curry has what, 4?
But here's the thing. We're not talking about a Golden State team that is in the top 5 seeding.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that.
A Golden State team that is in the play-in, who just in the play-in as a 10 seed, I believe.
Yeah.
And lost. They're not even in the playoffs, and we're looking at it next year where they might not even be in the playoffs either.
Yeah, depending how this all season goes.
So it's just like, do we want to just waste Curry here, just sitting here bottom of the barrel almost to this point, or do we want to give him a chance to win another ring?
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I don't think Curry leaves without Curry's consent, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Oh,
I think the only way Curry leaves is if he goes up and says, I just want to move on. Yep. Because you got to think about it. Mike Dunleavy, who took over for Bob Myers to run this team, if he comes in his first 2 or 3 seasons, trade Steph Curry away, dude, he's going to be ran out of the team. The fans are going to hate him so much if he decides to up and trade Curry. But if it comes out that like Curry's like, you know what, you guys are going to your youth movement, okay, I want to go somewhere to contend for a ring, one more ring. I think that's a whole different situation, and that could be something that maybe happens. I genuinely don't think it's going to happen. I do think Curry's going to retire in Golden State, but yeah, I don't know.
I think it's also going to be one of them things too where, like if Curry does go somewhere else, at like the last season he's a free agent or something, he'll sign back with Golden State and retire in Golden State.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't even know where could you even see Curry outside of Golden State. Like there's nowhere I can even like imagine him playing.
And maybe he'll go to the Lakers and team up with LeBron.
Yeah, that would have to happen like next offseason.
Hey, I mean, we've seen the rumors of LeBron and Curry wanting to play together.
I just feel like I mean, yeah, you're right. There's been the rumors, but I feel like that's just.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but
yeah, it's
like the most realistic possibility.
I mean, the only other one, and this is like this. There's a 99.9% chance this doesn't happen either, but he either plays in Charlotte or Cleveland because his dad played in Charlotte all those years, and he was born in Cleveland.
I would be more understanding of Cleveland because of where they're at right now than the Hornets because they do have LaMelo Ball, and they're not very good. The Cavs have some pieces to where if you threw Curry in there, then we're talking about a Cavs team that is potentially fighting. Well, I think they're what, the 2 seed?
No, 3 seed. No, 4 seed.
Whatever seed they are. You throw Curry onto that team, we're talking about them possibly contending for that 1 seed, fighting the Celtics.
But then it's like, what you're definitely giving up Garland. You're definitely giving up maybe like you're going to lose quite a few pieces getting Curry.
Yeah. You're probably going to lose a good amount of draft capital for the most part.
Yeah. And you're going to lose Darius Garland, but it's like Curry's going to step in that. And honestly, like if you're the Warriors, obviously you're not going to – nothing you get back from a Steph Curry trade is going to be worth Steph Curry.
Unless you
getting Darius Garland would be a really nice step for them.
It would be, and unless you bank on, like the Celtics did with the Nets, you get a pick about 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
And then in 4 years, Curry's gone. The team's not that good, and that pick is a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Because Donovan Mitchell could be going too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I feel like the Lakers and Cavs are like the 2 prominent pieces to get Curry.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason, like I said, because his dad played in Charlotte, I don't think LaMelo Ball is any type of placeholder where they're like, we're not trading for Curry because we have LaMelo Ball. I think they do that in a fucking heartbeat.
Fair.
But yeah, like you said, it wouldn't make sense because it's like bringing Curry to this Hornets team is not going to make them a contender.
No.
It's just going to put them in an awful set of purgatory.
It's gonna basically be like the Warriors per se.
The Warriors accept a step even worse.
Yeah,
and
I don't want to see Curry go through that. So that's why I don't think he's actually going to do that. But the Cavs and Lakers, I feel like, are the most plausible.
What if he ends up in New York?
That would be.
But then they have Jalen Brunson, and I think Jalen Brunson is such a New York embodiment right now that they're so happy with him.
They're not going to get rid of him, and you're not running Curry and Brunson at your 1 and 2.
I mean, hell, they did Luka and Brunson.
I mean, fair. It's just your backcourt is your shooting guard,
they're short.
Point guard are going to be like under 6'3". When you're trying to go against like someone like Luka, 6'7" running point, then you're going to have to try and find the matchup for trying to exploit. It's probably just going to be a headache. But
and honestly, like I said, we're just purely we both know this isn't going to happen, but it's fun to kind of throw around the idea.
Yeah, and then the other playing game for the West, the Kings and the Pelicans.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it earlier. I think we both have the Kings coming out of this one.
Yeah, I mean the Kings, kind of similar to the Bulls, they play more of a team game than the Pelicans, and especially without Zion, I just don't see it happening. And I mean at this point, let me check the standings quick.
They would play OKC.
I mean, there's a chance.
I mean, theoretically, you're right. There is, but
theoretically, there's a chance. I think it goes like 6.
I think it's a 5-6 game series.
5-6. I don't see it going 7. If the series goes 7, the Kings are going to win. If the Thunder
that's a take for sure.
If the Thunder can keep it to 6 games or less, it's the Thunder. If they let the Kings hang around for that game 7, Kings are going to win.
The only reason I kind of push back when I claim is last season, they went to 7 with the Warriors, and Curry dropped 50 on them in Game 7 and knocked them out.
But that is Curry.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, they
Steve-
have Shea. You know what I mean? It's not Curry, but Shea's an MVP candidate.
But the reason I point like that is because Curry's been to the finals how many times? He has deep runs into the playoffs, and he has that experience. I can't say the same about
Then
Shea.
I guess it's like, what makes you take the Kings over? Because the Kings have had no playoff success in the past 30 years, 20, 30 years. So, like, what makes you take the Kings in Game 7 over the Thunder?
Fox and Sabonis have more experience into the playoffs than Shea and Chet. They have more experience.
No, they don't.
Years in the league, yeah.
You said playoffs, though. Chet obviously doesn't because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
But De'Aaron Fox just made it for his first time last year. Shea's been in the playoffs before. Sabonis, well, I guess Sabonis had those couple years in Indiana where they lost in the first round every year. It's like the playoff experience. The playoff experience is damn near equal, and which is not a lot for either team.
Anything can happen on any given day.
I agree. I do agree. I agree with that. I think the experience thing doesn't really matter because it's like they neither one of these teams have a lot of playoff experience. So like I said, last year was the first time the Kings have made it in 20 some years.
There is one player on the Kings that have made multiple finals.
Harrison Barnes. How can
Harrison Barnes, baby. I'm not saying he's going to be the X factor.
Well, yeah.
But even then, just having that little bit of experience kind of helps a little bit.
Hey, well, OKC is Gordon Hayward. He was on the Boston team that went to the conference finals. Or was that the second round?
I don't remember. All I remember from him is him going up for a lob and then busting his ankle.
Okay, that was disgusting to watch in real time. Holy moly, was that awful.
And then once he came back, it was not great.
No.
But coming back from an injury like that is pretty tough to do.
Bismack Biyombo. The Thunder have Bismack Biyombo. Dude's been around the league.
He's been around.
Kendrick Williams, Mike Muscala. They got some playoff experience on that team too.
I mean,
it's not much for either. Like I said, neither one of these teams have much experience at all.
I was going to say, the most experienced in the playoffs for the Kings is Harrison Barnes. And I believe he was damn near a starter on some of them one of them Golden State teams.
I'm pretty sure
the finals.
He was on the team that won the first championship, like 2015 one. I'm pretty sure he was a starting small forward on that team. And then I think that year after or two, that's when he moved on.
And he got the bag.
Yeah, but like I said, for when it comes to, I mean, yeah, you are right about Harrison Barnes, but it's like Fox, Sabonis, and Shea have damn near the same amount of experience in the playoffs. Obviously, like I said, Chet doesn't. You're right, because he wasn't. He's second year, but he's technically rookie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just the only reason I would take the OKC in the Game 7 is just because they're the better team. That's pretty much what that is. I'm not writing off the Kings because if it goes Game 7, it literally can go either way.
Yeah. The only reason why I say the Kings could, if it goes 7, the Kings are going to win, is solely because it's kind of like that underdog in the fight that you let stick around, and then they end up sneaking one out. You know what I mean?
It definitely could happen. I don't want to act like it won't or can't. It definitely could. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we get up out of here?
Nope, that's about it.
It's a pretty good episode. We got over an hour. We're at 70. We're about at 70 minutes now. A lot of it was talking about the WNBA.
Yeah,
that's good. But yeah, 2 playing games down. 2 more playing games to go tonight, and then on Saturday. Now that once on Saturday we have our full playoff picture, we're gonna come in here with our official first round ballot. So what we're gonna do is it's gonna be set up 1 through 8. We're just gonna do first round. We're gonna do who's gonna win the series and how many games. We're gonna do that for every single game series for the first round, predicting, and then we'll do the same thing for the second round once we get to that time, and then blah, blah, blah. We'll move on. We'll just do the first round on Saturday. But it'll be a preview. When do the awards happen?
They probably do it in during the playoffs or right before the actual playoffs start.
I'm trying
I
to
think.
I don't even remember when are I'm trying to look it up here. When are the NBA awards? Curry withdrew from Team USA training. What? Breaking news. Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind. That's Adrian Wojnarowski fan account. It really almost got me for a second. Let's see here. One of the NBA's MVP deployment award. Can I just get a date, please? Or what is going on here? Why is it doing everything but giving me a date? Okay. Oh, while the specific dates are unknown, we can look to past years for a ballpark idea to work from. The 2022-2023 regular season ended on April 9th, and the finalists for each award were detailed 5 days later on April 14th. The winner of each award was then revealed on the following dates. Defensive Player of the Year, April 17th. Clutch Player, April 18th. Oh, so it's like an award a day?
Something like that, I guess.
I don't remember it being like that. Why
Finalists for each award are announced during the NBA playoffs, and winners are revealed during the ceremony. So I'm presuming it's going to be like during the first round is when they're going to be revealed.
Well, yeah, because last year it was end of April into beginning of May. So that's going to be, basically like the first round. I don't like that, if I'm being honest. Why do I not remember that? Because for the NFL, it's like the one night awards, like the NFL honors.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So I mean, if
there's a jump from Rookie of the Year last year was April 25th, and then they waited a week to give out the MVP for the final award.
I don't know.
NBA insider Mark Stein recently reported on a new voting process for year-end awards. Because of the new rules regarding player eligibility for end-of-season awards, the 65 games, ballots will not be sent out until the regular season ends, and voting will be from April 16th to April 19th.
So we're probably going to get the awards maybe on the 20th when the first round starts. At least
the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess they'll do it'll probably be throughout all next week. We'll get one every day or two, and then beginning of May we'll get the MVP.
All I gotta say is I don't know if you're a believer in it, but I'm a believer in the MVP curse.
I mean, maybe.
I'm a believer in the MVP curse. If you get the MVP, you're not winning the championship.
It's kind of funny that Jokic had it twice and then didn't win last year and got the championship.
Yep. MVP curse.
Yeah,
I believe
we'll find out. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this episode. I mentioned it earlier. With the WNBA draft rebuild thing I did, go check out my YouTube channel, Cloud2K. I do Madden. I did my off-season stream on Sunday. It was a great episode. Did some WNBA stuff. I did 2K, Madden stuff. And Levi, go ahead and shout out yours.
Garbage Gamer on YouTube. Right now I'm doing a Super Bowl run challenge. I'm doing it with every team. Got to win 3 games to become the Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and that's online. We're playing against people online. Yep.
Yes, that is online.
Go down to the link in the description for W Energy Drink, and at checkout use code Timeout with J&G. Levi, spell it for him.
TIMEOUTJG at checkout for 10% off.
Exactly, you got it down, and that's gonna do it. And we'll see you guys on Saturday. Peace.